Alrighty. Hello and welcome back to the Upper Creek with Two Paddles podcast. It is episode 50. It is officially the 1 year anniversary of the Upper Creek with Two Paddles podcast.
1 year, wow.
1 year. We've only missed 2 weeks. I have no clue how we did that.
That's doesn't seem right, but
I
mathematically
swore
it's the case.
it's what happened. I swear we've missed more than 2 weeks.
We definitely have.
But we're at 50 in a year, so we haven't.
Well, but that's the
And we
thing.
only banked episodes one time. We only recorded 2 episodes in a day once.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why we thought we were an extra week behind,
Yeah.
because we banked those episodes that one time. But yeah, dude. And by the way, like, again, we don't bank. We meet every fucking weekend to record these episodes.
every weekend.
Every
Pretty
weekend.
much,
The
yeah.
episode that drops on Thursday, we recorded that the previous weekend.
It's been low key a grind for a year.
It's
like,
been, yeah, there's definitely some weeks where it's like, God.
yeah. I mean, not terribly, but like, some days you're like, man, it'd be nice not to have to do anything.
Right. It'd be nice just to chill at the house and get some
Yeah.
work done around the house.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely feel you. But at the same time, it's been nice.
It's been
a nice-
extremely fun.
It's been a nice commitment. Like, I've enjoyed it a lot. I've been thinking about I don't know, like in meetings, like at work, like in group settings, I'm so comfortable like just asking questions.
Yeah.
Like I'm so much more comfortable just like,
Right.
putting myself out there.
Yeah.
Like I don't. It's not like a problem for me really anymore. I don't know whether it's because of this or because I don't know what it is, but I just, it's definitely helped me be more comfortable with just not knowing and asking questions. I feel
Right.
like.
It's helped my conversation skills for sure. For sure. Just like, the ability to kind of like, you notice when, there's like, either you're actually listening or you're just waiting to speak. And over a year of doing this podcast, I see that. I see that when it's happening.
Right.
And I can do better. I can make an effort to do better.
Yeah, and you can see it in other people too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not, I'm not immune to it. It still happens all of the fucking time.
Of
It's
course.
just human nature.
Yeah, and it's probably the people. Most of the time, it's the people you should probably listen to the most.
Right.
It is like, well, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm not. Yeah. So how's the week been?
It's been a good week. Been a good week. Can't complain. Work's been good. Been busy. Father's Day sales had me busy. 4th of July sales are coming up. That'll have me busy. It's been nice. No complaints here.
You got any plans for the 4th?
Nah, we might get together and shoot some fireworks. Other than that, not really.
Dude, I'm gonna be. I think we're going to Tobby Island
Island?
for the week. My dad messaged me like about a month ago. Yeah, probably about a month ago. I was like, "Do y'all want to go to the beach like the 29th through the 5th?" And I was like, "I think I can go, whatever, And I didn't even realize it was the 4th, and I was like, I didn't even realize it was a month away, and now I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to the beach. So yeah, I'm going to the beach. I think we're leaving next Saturday.
What kind of off time you getting?
I'm just gonna take the week off.
Full week. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Is that you just taking that off, or is that kind of standard?
I have we have a PTO system,
Right.
so I get paid. I think it's a month, 9 hours of sick leave and 9 hours of personal regular leave.
God, that breeze feels good.
It feels so good. It's very pleasant out here right now. Except for the mosquitoes. We're probably gonna get West Nile or hepatitis from each other, but
It'll be all right.
it's okay.
Hepatitis from each other.
But yeah, dude. Anyway, so yeah, I'm excited to go to Tobby. That'll be fun.
Where's Tobby? I've never heard of that.
It's the first island going south from North Carolina to Georgia. Or sorry, South Carolina to Georgia. It's like the first
Okay.
island past the South Carolina Georgia border.
So like right below Savannah.
Just in the exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the beach of Savannah.
That'll be cool.
It's
That'll
the
be really
Savannah
cool.
beach. You know what I mean? Yeah, Tybee Island is gonna be fun.
Dude, this past week we've had more listens. We've had more streams than any other week in the past year.
What? That's
Yes.
kind of cool.
Not necessarily on last week's episode, because not all the streams were of last week's episode. Some of them were of older episodes. But yes, this past week we have had more streams than any week in the year we've done this. So we're growing. We're growing.
Wow. That's cool.
It's super cool.
Probably wasn't a hard number to beat, but whatever.
No, it was not. It was not a very hard number to beat, and it's still not an impressive number. But we're growing.
Yeah, that's
We're on the right track.
You're right. That's besides the point.
But yeah, man, a year. Fucking, I forgot. I had some shit I was gonna say, but I got some random stuff I wrote down to talk about. I've been trying to get better about.
We should have had a birthday cake, dude.
We should have done something special,
Should have had a birthday cake.
or at least like a couple cupcakes or something. But yeah, I'm trying to get better about when I'm just sitting at the house, having random thoughts to write them down and be like, let's discuss that on the podcast.
Well, so what you got?
What do we got? Okay, the first thing I've already told you this, but we never discussed it. Peter Piper.
Oh God, I don't want to do
No,
this.
no,
Can
I'm
we skip
serious.
This one?
This will be quick. As a kid, the tongue twister.
Yeah.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked
A
a
peck
peck
of pickled peppers. How many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? So, as a kid, in my head, I always envisioned Peter out in the pepper patch picking fucking peppers.
Sure.
But he picked pickled peppers. So was he just in the grocery store grabbing a jar off the shelf?
No.
Or is a pickled pepper a type of pepper?
I'm thinking.
Or was he picking peppers to pickle?
I'm thinking he has picked peppers with the intention of pickling them.
But it says he picked pickled peppers. The peppers were already pickled.
But so if you say you're
If
living,
I pick a cucumber, I don't say I'm
like,
going to pick a pickle.
Do you know when? Dude, this is interesting. Do you know when this was written?
I have no clue. Do
We should
you?
No, I don't. We should find out. But I'm thinking maybe let's say it was written in 1700,
Okay.
right? And you literally grow peppers every year, and the only way you can have them through the winter is if you pickle them.
Right.
And you just call them pickled peppers. Let me just eat some pickle. Let me just go get the pickled peppers real quick. And even when you're planting them, you're like, yeah, we're planting the pickled peppers. These are pickled peppers. This is what we, you know what I mean? It's just what you call them. Does that make sense?
I mean, it makes
it
sense,
really
but
doesn't.
It doesn't. I don't think anybody would actually do that.
I wouldn't buy it.
Because, like I'm saying, if I'm going out to pick some cucumbers, I'm not saying I'm going out to pick pickles. I'm going out to pick cucumbers.
Right.
So now my viewpoint of the Peter Piper tongue twister is that he's literally in the pantry grabbing a jar off the shelf of already pickled peppers.
That makes more sense.
I know that's stupid, but
I never even imagined it as a kid. To be honest, I never I guess I did inadvertently.
I think of Peter out in the pepper patch.
Sure.
But no, he's in the Peter Piper was in the pantry picking pickled peppers.
What a lazy bitch.
And what is a peck? Is that like a bushel?
I guess.
I believe
A
so.
peck.
Yeah, I believe that's a similar term to bushel. Like you get a bushel of corn, a peck of peppers.
Pectorals.
Okay. 1813.
1813.
Yes.
What else do you got to say about it? Anything of note?
A peck of pickled peppers. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? So yeah, it's just no. They were already pickled. I'm sorry. I know this is stupid, but I don't know why I thought of it, how it popped in my mind one day, but I was just like, wait, my childhood was a lie.
Well, it's like one of those, they put two of every animal.
Well, this is a little
Noah's Ark.
different.
It's I mean
nobody religiously believes Peter was out there picking peppers. But we'll move on from that.
No,
one.
Peter was a disciple, didn't you know?
Yeah, true. But
Yeah, Peter.
was his last name Piper?
It's a metaphor. In ancient Greek, actually. related to Athena? If you didn't know, in case you're
Athena?
not a classicist,
Athena?
Athena.
Athena?
I'm just kidding. I don't know, dude. But no, what if it is related to Peter? We should you should read about it. Never.
Yeah, why the fuck would I waste my time reading about that?
dude, ancient Greek is really interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Apparently, like it was kind of like dominated. Like even though there was all these languages around the Mediterranean
Hold
during
on.
the time of Jesus,
The
most people spoke Greek.
So the tongue twister was written or was published in a book and by John Harris. In his book, Peter Piper's Practical Principles of Plain and Perfect Pronunciation.
How dare he?
So he just wrote tongue twisters to try and get people to fucking enunciate better.
He liked peas.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if
So that was one of his little rhymes.
Yeah, the book was intended to help children learn pronunciation and included a one-name tongue twister for each letter of the alphabet.
That's so cool.
That's actually really cool. All right. Well, either way, I'm confused because
He
the
wrote
peppers
the
were
book?
pickled. John Harris.
It's silly. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, I'm so. I'm being silly.
John Harris of 1813.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
That's that. We got to the bottom of it.
Well, yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I mean, I want to get that book
That's pretty cool.
because we only know Peter Piper.
Be a cool book.
There's a name for every level. What's Z? What's the Z tongue twister?
Oh Jesus.
What's the X tongue twister?
God.
Q's?
Oh
How do you make a whole sentence of words that start with Q?
God. I couldn't even begin.
Quinn, Quincy, Q'd, and Quebec for cucumbers.
Bro. I don't.
That's difficult. I'll give that man some props.
You just said a bunch of nouns.
No, Quinn, Quincy. It's a name.
Oh,
Queued, as in waited in line,
cute.
in Quebec for cucumbers, but I don't know what would start with a C that you or Q that you would queue for. Queued in Quebec to question the quest. That's so hard.
To question the
Quinn.
queen.
Yes. Quinn Quincy queued in Quebec to question the Queen. I'm giving Quinn a challenge. Quinn, I challenge you to write a tongue twister for every letter of the alphabet.
That is a really interesting idea, though.
Can you beat John Harris?
Like it's a way to. It's a really good way to get people to learn pronunciation of letters.
Yeah, that's.
Because you just do it over and over and over again.
Right.
The same. You practice saying the sentence. And you
But I
just
wonder
say
if
it.
it's specific letters or just phonetically. Like cucumbers is a C, but it would still fit into that tongue twister. So I don't.
It wouldn't necessarily.
wonder how
be
strict that would be.
alliteration. I think the goal is alliteration.
I'm not sure.
Is it not? I mean,
The goal was pronunciation. I'm not sure if alliteration.
through alliteration.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
that's what the whole. It's a tongue twister based on alliteration.
So can alliteration also be phonetic and not just necessarily?
I don't know. I think that has to apply to the first letter.
I don't. Is that the case?
I think if the first.
I mean,
letter,
yeah. In my mind, as I remember learning of alliteration, it was always the
Yeah.
right letter. But phonetically, it makes sense.
Maybe. I mean, you might could do it.
If it's Q Q Q Q Q, and one of them's CU, one of them's QU, one of them's KU.
like what if you have an Aaron with a E,
Yeah.
right?
So does alliteration? How do you spell alliteration? Okay, alliteration have to start with the same letter. No, I'm right.
It doesn't.
Alliteration happens when words that start with the same sound are used repeatedly in a phrase or a sentence,
The same sound.
not necessarily the same letter. So Quinn's cucumbers is still alliteration. Well, not. I mean, kind of, because Q and Qu.
You could pass. You could pass it.
Either that's interesting.
You'd get a 70.
Either way, yeah, that's a solid D.
75.
A D example of alliteration.
It's 3/4 of the way there.
All right, moving on. Just randomly, I want to.
Isn't that weird? There's degrees of alliteration, if you will.
I suppose. Well, it's just like rhymes.
Right.
There's perfect rhymes. There's slant rhymes. There's, I can't think of the other examples. forest rhymes might be one of the, but like not all rhymes have to technically rhyme,
Right.
which is used a lot in music. But it was randomly, I thought of this literally 5 minutes ago driving down the road. What are some of your favorite smells?
I would say for sure.
I got a couple easy ones that come to mind.
I got two that are coming to mind. Is definitely like an actual banana, like a fresh banana.
Ooh,
Like,
that's a good one.
and then
I didn't think
when
of fruit.
I'm doing onions in some butter,
Onions and butter was my first thing
Like-
I thought of.
or just like a sofrito in general with onions.
You can't
like
beat
anything
that.
like that.
You can't beat onions on a skillet.
Yeah.
That smell is, ooh,
That's
it's
one of the
delightful.
for sure.
It is
That was
very
when
nice.
I got. This is interesting. When I got COVID, that smell became repulsive to me.
Really?
It really did. Like at first it went away, right, and then as my smell started to come back after like a month
That's interesting.
of not having anything, it was repulsive. A lot of things were repulsive.
Just
like,
because it was so strong after not smelling anything for so long,
no,
maybe?
I think it affected my. Maybe I needed to. I don't know if I needed to relearn it, maybe, but I think it actually affected my sense of smell.
Potentially.
I think it really, because even garlic or like anything, like when I would walk into restaurants, like every single, it was kind of weird because every single restaurant smelled the same, and I'm like, oh my god, all these people are getting their food from the same person. Like not actually, but they're getting it from the same distributors.
Well,
like
I wonder-
U.S. Foods, but I'm saying everything's had this repulsive kind of like,
Right, but
it ruined my sense of smell,
what I think,
which was awful.
my explanation,
We're getting away from the point though.
no, my explanation would be that after so long of having hardly any, if any, sense of smell and barely smelling anything, then once you started to gain back the sense of smell, everything you smell was going to be smelled with such intensity because you hadn't smelled anything in so long. So potentially just the fact that it was such an
Maybe.
intense smell, because like
But
acquired,
wouldn't you expect it to smell the same?
I don't know, because here's analogy, acquired tastes. Things that we think are delicious, other people from other places
I
who
see what
grew
you're
up
saying.
eating other things might think that they're repulsive.
The only problem with that theory is that everything smelled the same. Like it wasn't like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything had the same sort of distinct like shitty smell. It wasn't like everything had shades of smells.
Still,
it
I
was like
think-
everything was coming across as this one shitty smell.
But so that
You know what I mean?
that makes me even more likely to believe it was strictly just the intensity of the smell. Because your brain had gotten used to smelling almost nothing for so long, once your nostrils started
Could be. I mean,
working
you could be
again,
right, you could be
the,
right.
the intensity of that smell, your brain just couldn't work through it for a while. It had to figure it out again. I can't get these levels right.
That's an interesting hypothesis.
But yeah, bacon, damn good smell.
Bacon's great
Bacon's a good one.
for sure.
I'm trying to think of non-foods though.
Dude, when I'm at the store, you know how I buy bacon? If I see it, buy one get one free, I'll buy 4 of them.
This man's a sucker for the deals.
No, listen, I'll buy 4 of them and freeze them.
Yeah.
So that way I'm never like hurting for a pack of bacon. I'm never like, oh, I got to go to the store and get a pack of bacon. I got to pay, you know what I mean? Now it's not on sale. Now I got to pay,
Yeah,
full
yeah.
price, whatever.
No, that's a good
now
plan.
now I got 4 in the freezer or 3 in the freezer. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
you just always got bacon.
yeah, that's what I try. And I try to do that with everything that we eat on repeat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But what made me think of that is I drove past a spot like literally like a mile or 2 down the road, and I had this overwhelming smell of just like fresh dirt. I love that smell. Like a good, clean, just fresh forest floor, dirt. That's such a like when I get in a fresh bag of like
Yeah.
potting mix, that smells. I love that smell.
The river has a smell too. Like when you get into a river valley,
Right.
it has like a certain smell
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then, but it's not like it's good, but it's not bad either. It's just like a
it's
like
a nature.
It's like a smell. It's just a
Yeah.
smell. It's just like
Like
a nice.
It's kind of like a boggy,
It's something
dirty.
that you can acknowledge,
Right. Yeah.
which I like.
Right.
But I wouldn't say it's good. Isn't that weird? Like people are so weird about how, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, like it's almost like it's enjoyable because of the environment.
But then when
But
I
if
come
you
back
were-
from the river, Hannah's like, dude, you smell like the river. You need to go take
Right,
a shower.
right. But in the environment, it's encompassed with this
Right.
joy of being on the river. So then you associate it with positive feelings. But if you smelled that smell coming out of
Yeah.
your fridge, you'd be like, we got to do something.
What's the problem here?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're
So,
right.
I mean, smell associations. I wonder if
That's
that's why
so
we like the
weird.
smell of bacon, because we're like, well, I'm about to eat something fucking delicious.
Right. We always lean towards food for sure. I've never really been too big on freshly cut grass. Like that's never been one that I really
I like that. I
It's
don't.
never been one that I'm like super fond. Rain. I like rain. I like
yeah.
the smell of rain.
God,
like when
what's the term for that?
what?
There's a term for the smell after a good rain.
Before. Before.
Shit. Damn, I only know it because of whiskey. Sometimes it'll be a note in whiskey. It starts with a. I want to say it starts with a P. I swear.
I don't know,
Rain
man.
smell.
What-
Petrichor. That's what it's called.
That's an awful word for it.
Petrichor. Petrichor is the smell of like
That's
a
such a
rain.
obtrusive, harsh word for that type of smell.
It's such a delicate smell.
Right? Why would you put that? Why would you give it that word?
So if you're going like candles or incense, what do you? I know you're not really that much of a candle guy, but like what would be something
I
you
used
lean
to be,
towards?
but like I've heard that all that burning
Carcinogens in
is
the air.
not good for your
No,
lungs. Yeah.
for sure. But
So-
fuck it.
Yeah, but I like unscented every now and again. If me and Hannah are trying to, be somewhat special, we'll have we have 2 unscented candles, like small
Mhm.
ones that will just burn. But I mean,
Like I hate.
but as far as I can't name a smell of candle. I used to like a lot of them though.
But like I lean towards like a clean, fresh scent, like summer breeze or like clean linens, or like that type of candle. But when you get into like rich like apple pie candle,
Yeah, I don't like those.
fucking hate food scented candles.
I don't either.
Or like
I hate I don't really like when I walk into someone's house and it's like the odor is so strong of like that artificial.
yeah,
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I've never really been like that. Isn't it weird how you walk into
the cicadas are
Cicadas.
out.
Isn't it weird how like you walk into people's houses and it has just like a distinct smell? Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I walk into my house and I smell it and I'm like, huh. Is that the smell I want to smell when I walk in the house?
All right. So speaking of petrichor,
Not that it smells bad.
I'm moving on from smells. If you got something to say, then go ahead. I got plenty.
No, I'm fine, dude. I'm just chilling.
What are some words that are fun to say?
Blasphemy.
All right, that's a decent one. I'm thinking simple, like
Dick.
sack, and I'm trying to avoid dirty words.
Moist.
No, that's too common.
That's too
Everybody leans towards that word.
Everybody wants that one.
No, but like first of like people will be like, yeah, I fucking hate that word, but why? Is it the pronunciation, or is it because you think of moisture and you think you associate it with nasty things?
It's because it's the thing. It's because people say it weird.
But
Because
if
people
you-
say it gross.
But if you
Moist.
said you had to hoist something,
Same thing.
same exact pronunciation, nobody's bothered by hoist.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Does that make sense? But yeah, sack.
Sack's a good one.
And I don't necessarily, I mean, ball sack, obviously.
You're fired.
like
That's fine.
like backpack, back sack, a sack of potatoes. Like sack's a fun word. But like obviously there's all of the dirty ones are fun. Like twat.
These nuts.
Twat's a fun word.
No, okay.
Which the British say it better. The British say twat.
Yeah, I never say that. I'm not.
Twat's a fun word.
Yeah.
I never use it.
Yeah.
All right, well what are some words that you wish you used more? That they're not really in your vernacular?
Oh, that's a hard question.
I wrote down whippersnapper. I need to use that more. You need to break that out.
Dude, you have to be over 50 to use that word.
These
dude.
young whippersnappers.
Are you fucking kidding me?
But like, you know what I'm like? That's just an example to kind of get you in the headspace. Like, what are words that you know that you just never use?
Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. I don't. Man.
Like, there's so many good words that I just, I stick to my own little vocabulary. I don't branch out enough.
Let me think. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I guess that is a hard one to come up with on the spot.
I don't feel like I have that great of a vocabulary, to be honest.
I feel like I have a pretty extensive vocabulary,
Maybe more than the average person, but
more than the average bear.
yeah, but not like crazy.
Right. Like, no, I think I would definitely say my vocabulary is more expansive than the average person. But
Maybe if I'm being gay and optimistic, I would say gratitude. Maybe I could throw that. I should probably use that word.
gratitude.
More. Or grateful. Maybe I should use that word.
Anything 3 syllables and longer.
But you're thinking like an impressive word.
No, not necessarily. Like I said, whippersnapper.
Right.
I'm not necessarily thinking, like, I'm just like, there's so many words out there. And also, like, a lot of our vocabulary is shaped by our environment and where we grew up, what we grew up saying.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of Southern slang.
For sure.
And there's some things I hear, like New Yorkers say.
Dude, I can hear in New York, like you can 100. I can always. They have a certain swag or style or
Right.
sound, whatever you want to call
a
it.
delivery.
This this salesman came up, and immediately I knew he was from like up around there. I knew he wasn't from around here.
Right.
And yeah, he ended up being from Brooklyn, but he lives in. He said he lived in Florida, just Florida. He just said he lived in Florida.
Yeah.
He said he travels for this. Have you ever heard of this? What's the security company? Viv starts with a V.
I have no clue. I don't know.
It's a pretty dope system. But anyway, he was a salesman for them. He said he travels 5 months at a time. Like like literally, like they'll different neighborhood every day, and they'll work like, 10 to 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Walking around, knocking on people's houses, trying to.
Fuck that. I would hate that job. Door-to-door salesman.
He said he loved it. Yeah.
Fuck, you got to be a certain type of
You got to
asshole.
be a certain type of motherfucker.
Yeah.
I let him in, gave him a glass of water, and then was like,
Get the fuck out.
"Yeah,
I'm not buying your shit.
yeah, no." He was definitely kind of he was glistening, if you will. I'll put it kindly. So I was like, to be honest, I wasn't even trying to let him in, but he was like, "Dude, do you mind if I like come inside?"
Oh, you just gave glistening. Schwitzing. Have you ever heard people say that? Like, I'm schwitzing. It's I think it's a Jewish term. Or comes from like that type of, I don't know. But like
I heard of a European colloquialism recently because I've been watching the Euros and I've been watching some of the press conferences and stuff.
all right.
There's a word that I'm not comfortable saying at the moment that they use to describe like an inconvenience, if you will. Like something that happens to you that's like not what you wanted, that kind of set you back, something like that.
A quandary.
Sure.
Is that correct?
Maybe.
What's the definition of quandary?
It sounds
what I
like
need to add to my vocabulary.
like a bad situation or something like that.
I think that's what that means.
Yeah, you're in a pickle, if you will. If you want to speak Southern colloquialisms.
A pickled pepper.
But anyway, I don't want to say the word. Can I tell you in your ear? Hold on. Please? I'm scared. You're going to be shocked.
I mean, could you give me a hint?
Here, just
without
cover the mics.
What?
Yes.
was that audible? So just spell it. How about that?
No.
Yeah, you can spell.
You spell it in your head. It's fine.
I mean, what I heard was Niggles.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
They use that?
They use it as like it's an English phrase. It's an English phrase.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. It's like actually like a British. I should say British phrase.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Dude,
And they use it no problem.
I was watching a video today.
What?
Well, I mean, it's just however their term for cigarettes is also quite offensive
Right,
around
sure.
around these parts. But
I thought that was in Australia.
no, that's a British thing, dude.
Oh.
The UK is a fucked up country.
Defend yourself.
It's a country of countries.
Right.
The United Kingdom
So is Russia.
is. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Russia has the same sort of deal. They have like small republics that, take for instance Dagestan or Chechnya or what there's 10 of them.
Those are all within Russia?
Yeah, they're all Russian.
They're all their own countries. Not Russian countries. We're an English country. That's not what I'm talking about.
What do you mean?
We are an English country.
No, dude, I'm saying they belong to Russia, but they have their own republic. This is a common, centralized, communist, socialist type of situation where they have different ethnic groups, right? They form their own republics, but they ultimately answer to the higher central communist or socialist leader.
Would that be like Canada and Australia answering to the crown?
It's more. It's first of all, they're all connected. It's one unified landmass. They're within. It's not like they're separated, isolated geographically. They're within the border of Russia. Like it's all in one line.
I did not know that.
You know what I'm saying?
But it seemed with Russia. Whatever. It's a fucking basically a dictatorship.
It's exactly the same thing that England's got going on, where they have these different countries as a part of.
It's not England.
Right, it's the UK. It's the United Kingdom, right?
Which is England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales. I think that's it. Am I missing one? And England. No, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales. And then Northern Ireland and Ireland are on the same island.
But they're separated.
They're different countries. And Ireland is not part of the UK.
Ireland's
But
different.
Northern Ireland is.
They gained their independence.
It's so strange.
Yep.
And then technically, all of the main island, that is Wales, England, and Scotland, is Great Britain. But Northern Ireland is not counted in Great Britain, even though Northern Ireland's part of the UK.
You know why this happens, right?
I mean, it's all politics.
It's these ethnic groups. Right, like they kind of form like we have a Southern culture versus like the Northeasterns, the Connecticut to New Jersey folk.
It's just strange.
We all form our own sort of, not villages, but like our own ethnic. That's kind of the word for it, our own, separated cultures.
Right,
and then we want separate things for ourselves.
I see what you're saying.
And so they form these little small countries, but by themselves, they're not shit. So they have to band together.
Not necessarily.
England they band together.
Has a history of being the shit.
No, you know what I'm saying. But separated. If it was just Wales, and they were all, you know what I'm saying.
I know, but
the
it's weird.
trick is the unification. That's what makes them strong.
Right, but it's still odd to me that they're all separate countries that are also kind of all one country. Like in the U.S., we're kind of all the states kind of act as their own governmental entities, but we have a federal government that oversees everything. I don't know how is the Parliament in England? Do they rule the decisions of Scotland? How does that work governmentally?
I have no idea.
See, it's confusing.
It's very confusing.
It's very weird. That's not anything I wrote down. I was just watching a video about that this morning.
But different parliaments and stuff. They can be funky. They don't have the same rules that we do.
It's so weird.
But it's interesting.
And then
the United States is. You can argue that the United States is similar.
I'm saying I'm agreeing it's similar. It's similar, but those are sovereign countries that are all within. That are all a collection of one country, but they're sovereign nations.
Right.
South Carolina is not a sovereign nation.
No.
Not even close.
Right.
And then if you count what's under the rule of the British Crown, then you start getting to like Canada, Australia, like Turks and Caicos, like Jamaica. Like there's so many. I can't remember Jamaica's one. I think it is. I think Jamaica's still under the rule of the British Crown. It's so weird. England still has a ton of colonies that they rule.
Dude, they're the second or third largest landowners in the world.
It's
the crown, the
wild.
British Crown.
It's wild.
But yeah, no, I mean it's weird. Yeah,
It's
I was recently reading about the wars of the Yugoslavic people in the 80s and 90s. Because I've been following soccer lately, and there's this really good player he's from Croatia. His name's Luka Modric. Anybody who follows soccer knows who Luka Modric is. He's known as like the master, like he's the
master.
he's the grand master,
Okay.
meaning that he is an orchestrator of greatness. Anyway, he's great with the ball.
Right.
But he grew up in Croatia during the time of that war, and a lot of the conflict was between I think they call them the Croats, like the Croatians, the Croats, like that's their ethnic group, and then the Serbs.
Right.
The Croatians are kind of on the Mediterranean Sea, like they're right on the water facing Italy, facing
Sure.
Western Italy, or Eastern Italy. I'm sorry.
Is that like right where Turkey?
North of Greece, just north of Greece.
Is Turkey north of Greece?
Turkey is east of Greece.
Okay.
Turkey is east of Greece.
Sorry, my geography on that part of the world is very, very
No, you're
limited.
good. But so the Croats were like, they were. So let me start over. There was the Yugoslavic Empire.
Right.
There was like multiple countries and multiple ethnic groups. I think there was 5 of them, 5 or 6.
Right.
That all were like different nations, and they sort of all answered to the main communist socialist guy who was a Serbian guy. He was Serbian. So the main power was always kind of like the Serbians, and then the other ethnic groups kind of wanted to gain their independence, right? Like pretty much. They wanted to be more, and then that game would go on for 20 years of like, you have a little bit of a little bit more, what would you call it? Sovereignty.
Yeah.
And then they would lose it, and then they eventually were they had a war, and the Croats pretty much fought the Serbs and gained their independence. But he grew up during this war. Like his grandpa was killed, and then his family moved from their like small little village, which is
Right.
basically like literally 10 houses on the side of a mountain. That's literally what their village was, and they moved to a big city, and they lived in a hotel for like 10 years. I'm talking about, or like 7 or 8 years probably. I think that's what I read. Talking about Luka Modric still, but yeah, dude, that story of that side of the world, man. Those people,
Yeah.
wild.
When it comes to world history, I'm very
And that's
ignorant.
recent past. That's like,
Oh yeah.
like he was born in 85.
Okay,
so the wars were going on in the 90s.
Well, once we moved on from a point I was going to make. Schwitzing. I like this word because we don't have a word that is kind of a lesser sweating. Like you said, glistening. So if I'm like right now, I would say I'm sweating, but I'm not like dripping sweat. So I think that's what schwitzing means. It's like you're not quite sweating, but you can feel the sweat coming on.
Right. I would say I'm breaking out in a sweat. I'm about to break out in a sweat.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I like
It feels like pins and needles.
like that word is useful because a lot of times you're not like sweating, but you're like you feel you're schwitzing, you're glistening, you feel it start like
No, glistening is when you've got a full blown sweat.
yeah, you're dripping.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea of having a word that's like on the way to sweating.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, yeah. Which is glitzing.
Schwitzing.
Schwitzing. I like that word.
It's a good. I think it's a Jewish word.
I'm constantly schwitzing.
I'm schwitzing
It
quite a bit.
sounds like a Jewish word, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
That sounds like a Jewish word, man. Wow. So I want to shout out my favorite team in Europe, which is Spain. Playing in the Euros, looking hot and bothered. They're looking good, real good. I'm hoping they run to the finals, son. Yeah, Germany, you're going down in your home country.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I know what I was gonna say. How arrogant are we as Americans, as America, that our war for independence is the Revolutionary War?
That's just how we look at it. Other countries don't look at it.
What do other
that way.
countries call it?
They call it Independence Day, like us. And
No,
whatever.
I'm saying, how do other countries refer to our Revolutionary War?
Oh.
How come we get the title the Revolutionary War
Oh.
when there's dozens of examples of Revolutionary wars?
You learned history in the United States.
I know. So how is it referred to in
Probably
Europe?
the American Revolution.
Ooh, that makes sense.
That's what I always heard it called, like the American Revolution.
That makes sense. So could it technically be considered the American Revolution to be a civil war? Because we were still part of England.
No, a civil war only happens if the people trying to gain independence lose.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's a civil war if the country stays united. But if they split because of the war,
It's a revolution.
it's a revolution because one country gained, it's one or the
Independence, yeah. Okay.
Because after we gained independence, we're no longer the same country. That's
Right.
what's
So you enlightened me on that one. Because I
Yeah.
don't know. That was just random. I was like, wait, what?
right.
But technically, it's still a civil war. Just because now you have gained.
While it's going on, I guess that's how Britain would look at it. But
Right.
yeah, but not really. They're like thinking of it as a rebellion.
Right. But I mean, our civil war was that. That's my whole point.
We tried to secede.
We were going to form our own nation.
We
the
did.
Confederate state. Exactly. We fought. We lost. And we call that a civil war.
Right, because
Same exact thing in Britain, except we just happened to win.
which is why it's a revolution. Because the revolution is the change.
Right, but technically it still was a civil war.
Shut up.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah, but
I know it's just
what's
semantics.
What's important is the outcome. The outcome is how we describe the war. That's what's important.
Oh, right.
We're describing the war.
What about
So
world
what's the
wars?
best way to describe it?
World wars, we don't call them that because of the outcome.
Well, that's. But I guess you're right in that point.
I guess
in that
world
case.
wars are just a completely different
That's a
level
different thing,
of battle.
for sure.
But I think I'm right. It was technically a civil war, but we won, so we call it a revolution.
No, I mean you're right, but that's because we won.
it's just
not
words.
a civil war. Yeah. No, you're right.
It's just words.
But even so, I don't think if like let's say we lost, or let's not even say us. Let's say Jamaica, right? For instance, there's been probably multiple uprisings in Jamaica trying to gain independence against the crown, right? They don't look at it as a civil war.
Right.
Like they're like, it's not a civil war.
Yeah.
It's just an uprising. It's just a rebellion. It's not a civil war. It's like that. You have to effectively categorize these things.
That's insulting.
That's the fact of the matter.
That's insulting to Jamaica because the crown's just like, you're not even a threat. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not trying to be dismissive of Jamaica.
I'm not saying you are, you
Right.
fucking idiot.
No, I know you're not, but I'm just saying. But that's probably how they look at it,
It's just,
and that's
it's
probably
just
how they
words.
looked at it back then when America was revolting. They're like, no chance these fucking idiots have a chance of getting away. You know what I mean?
Look how big that piece of thing that ant's carrying is. That thing's the size of the ant. Just walking around with it.
Good God.
Ants are beasts, dude. All right, we'll move on from that because that was stupid.
But you see, I think that the
No, I
crown,
know exactly
the
what you're
crown at the
saying.
time were like yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying, but I think we're both a little bit right.
No. We all know.
I'm not.
I'm just kidding.
I said it was a civil war, but because we won it, it's a revolutionary war.
Yeah, right. No, you're right.
That is technically correct.
That's right.
Okay. We're
That's-
both right.
I said that.
No, I said that.
You said.
No, my whole argument is that technically it was a civil war. But because now I'm agreeing with you because
I'm
we
making
won,
the point that
we
you
don't
can
call it that
argue
anymore.
that point.
Right.
You can argue that point. I don't think you're necessarily right. I'm arguing that I think you're wrong.
Right. And I'm arguing that I think I'm right, but I'm also agreeing with you that because we won, we just don't call it that anymore. I agree with you. But like you said at the beginning, as it was happening, it technically kind of was a civil war.
No, I don't even agree with you there. And I explained why. Because, like for instance, Jamaica example, they don't look at that.
But if Jamaica had a military that could take on the crown, it'd be a different story.
I guess that would technically be a civil. Maybe okay. I'm. See, this is.
It's two.
But now you see my point.
militaries.
It's an argument.
It's two militaries under the same rule, fighting each other. We declared independence. That was us declaring independence. The Declaration of Independence was very similar to South Carolina seceding.
Right.
South Carolina was declaring their independence.
So technically, it wasn't a civil war because at the time we had declared we were our own nation. So they're not two nations fighting each other.
But
if you
you're arguing my point because
that it wasn't a civil war.
No. South Carolina, when the South seceded, they declared that they were the Confederate States of America, but the North did not recognize them as a separate country and fought to maintain them within
and they lost, so
the
it's
Union.
a civil war.
The same thing happened with England, except we won.
But we were a colony. We were never part of the same nation. That's why it's different.
No, we were part of the same nation.
We were colonies.
A colony is still part. It's under the rule of the crown. This is a pointless argument, but I think
it's a semantics argument.
Yes,
and there is a right person. And I don't know who it is.
I don't think either of us are wrong.
Right. It's an argument.
Because it's just semantics.
It's a legitimate argument.
Either way. We got flustered for no reason.
No, I like it. I like arguing I like that kind of argument.
Just stupid. Just pointless.
Because I've thought about this before. Obviously I've thought about it before because when you brought it up, I said, it's a revolution when the winning team gets independence. Like, that's why it's a revolution. But a rebellion is when the loser has to stay, and they lose, and they don't get any rights, and they don't get independence. So rebellion, revolution, rebellion, revolution.
Well, all I'm saying is I think it might be more.
A civil war is different than a revolution or a rebellion.
All I'm saying is,
you see what I'm saying?
I speak.
Sorry,
you interrupt me twice. All I'm saying is I think that there's some more technicalities within that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can make the argument.
Then that's what I'm doing.
Me too.
Exactly.
Cheers.
So let's move on.
Okay.
We beat that horse to death, or whatever you say.
I'm glad it's dead. Fuck that horse. I fucking hate that horse.
Do you like high heels on a lady?
Interesting question.
Much more interesting than the Civil War debate.
I mean, it's all to do with the situation and how high are they?
Yes, the height makes a difference.
Like, where is she?
You can surpass.
Are we in a nightclub or are we on a street corner? Are we in like?
No, I say either.
Is it a teacher or is it a
across the board? Across the board, I don't find high heels attractive. I don't think it adds anything.
Not me.
It doesn't get me going.
Not particularly.
Doesn't get me going.
No.
I'd rather see a girl in a pair of sneakers.
If I see a girl in a pair of Converses and a pair of short blue jeans,
Converses were going to be my go-to because my follow-up question was going to be, what type of shoe do you like? Do you think is like, I don't know. My term I say is cute,
right?
Just because that's what I look for in a woman. I'm not looking for hot or sexy. I'm looking for somebody that I would enjoy cuddling with.
Cute. I feel you.
You know.
Yeah,
you don't want a girl that's way too sexy because then you're worried.
If we're being honest, there's shades. Like, if you will, there's a Venn diagram of these different characteristics.
I would agree.
And you sit somewhere.
I would agree
in a realm. But yeah, no, I totally agree. I like a cute, not so harshly beautiful woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so obtrusively beautiful that everyone is looking at her. That's a recipe for disaster.
That's a burden.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Sorry, pretty ladies. I'm not the guy for you. Some guys for you, but not me.
No, not me.
And that's okay.
Converse is a good option though. But like, even like if we're going like to let's say I'm taking a date to a wedding. I don't know what.
It starts with an S that I'm on the verge of sweating.
Schwitzing.
I'm schwitzing, man. I'm
But like
schwitzing, dude.
even say if we're going out to like, you know, say you take a date on a wedding,
Hot
like
date.
even then I'm like leave the high heels at home. Wear some flats.
Dude, you can't date someone way hotter than you. It's just not. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I wouldn't know. I've never never had the luxury of dating somebody way hotter than me.
I think I've shot above my league a couple of times. I'll be proud of that.
I've never done that.
I'd say. I mean, but to be fair, you have been with the same person for a long time. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So you haven't really had the chance.
Right.
So
Right.
that's not fair.
I'm schwitzing as well. It's so hot.
But yeah, no, I totally agree.
Well,
I like a soft. This is so funny that you bring this up because in my pledge brother group, I was in a fraternity, and your pledge brothers are your class.
Yeah.
The people in your fraternity that you came in and graduated with.
Right.
I accidentally sent a message to my Snapchat to the group message Snapchat.
Accidental messages are the scariest thing.
Dude, it's always Snapchat.
It's so terrifying.
It's always Snapchat. Anyway, but yeah, so I accidentally sent a message, and I was telling my girlfriend at the time, "You have a soft, cute look to you." That's verbatim what I said.
Oh, I bet they destroyed you, dude.
Dude, my asshole is never recovered. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, it was rough.
That's embarrassing.
That's not even. I've also had a couple of other ones that were not.
That's
great.
Embarrassing.
That's very embarrassing. But that's what I said, and that's exactly what you're describing.
But what's funny?
The soft, cute, like not that outstandingly beautiful that you're like, can I even talk to you?
Like you're saying soft, like abrasively sexy.
Right, like aggressively,
Yeah,
aggressively.
Stay away from me. I don't need that in my life. That is, like you're saying, that's trouble. That's a recipe for disaster.
Oh my god!
I need a nice mid woman.
Don't say that. Don't degrade your woman.
Shoot for comfortability.
Don't degrade.
But
no, I definitely get what you're saying. There's just different feelings. It's different. It's not the one's better one is not better than the other necessarily.
Right.
They're going to give you different things.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Right.
That's the question.
I'd rather have an ugly bitch who can cook.
See, at least you got priorities.
I want an ugly
Now
bitch who
talking.
can cook me a fire meal.
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'll be happy. My standards are not necessarily in agreement with mainstream dude standards.
Bro, to be honest, if you want a girl that can cook nowadays,
What?
she's probably going to be ugly.
Because the hot ones don't have to lift a
They
finger.
don't have to do anything.
They don't do anything.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Except
kidding.
show their
That's so ridiculous. to me.
tits on
That's
Instagram.
So ridiculous for us to say. But
Bro, if I was a hot girl, I'd be a millionaire right now.
I mean, there's really no there's no reason. I mean,
I'd be selling my socks, my underwear, my bathwater, my farts. I'd be on OnlyFans. I'd be raking it in if I was a hot chick.
you'd go straight to hell.
I don't even care. It'd be worth it.
Hot hell.
And then I'd go fuck the devil.
Dude, have you ever heard? I'm sure you have. The gates of hell are locked from the inside.
I've not heard that. What does that mean?
Just think about it for a second. The gates of hell are locked from the inside. So if you're in a room and the door is locked from the inside, who's in control? Right.
Yeah, I don't.
So the gates of hell
Okay, so
are locked
you're the reason
from
you go to hell. Essentially, you're in control of whether or not.
Stay in hell.
Okay, yeah, fair.
For if we're just applying that to life.
So essentially, there's a chance for redemption.
Always.
In a way. Okay, cool. But I want to get back to the embarrassing, like when your boys hear or see something you say that's like romantic or vulnerable to a woman. It's embarrassing, but all guys know that all other guys do that.
Wait, I'm sorry. Break that down again for me.
Like you describing a girl as a soft, nice, cute
right.
look
Right.
is embarrassing for all your guy friends. But they're all doing that to the girls they're talking to.
Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're talking to different types of girls.
I think most of them are. So why is it only if we're all doing it? Why is it so embarrassing?
You're right. You're right. No, you're
You
right.
know?
No, you're right.
Like every dude who is a respectful guy is gonna be vulnerable and cutesy with his lady, but it's so embarrassing for your dude friends to see that.
You're right. It is.
Why? Is that just misogyny?
It doesn't embarrass me that much. Like, it's not like I lose sleep over it.
Well,
or
also
anything.
not anymore. Like,
Not anymore.
That comes with maturity.
Then when I went for like a day or two, maybe I was a little embarrassed.
But like in high school, if you wrote a love letter to a girl and
Right.
your bros found it,
yeah,
you want to go fucking kill yourself. That is so embarrassing. And obviously with
I'm
maturity,
trying to think. I don't think I ever had anything that bad happen to me.
or like a proposal. Like you're almost a little embarrassed. You don't want to do a proposal in a crowded space. There's something a
No,
little
God, no.
embarrassing about it.
For sure
It's
not.
the vulnerability.
Oh God, no, I would never do that. I mean, unless everybody does it in front of their family. Everybody's always got their family there.
Yeah. That's embarrassing. I don't want anybody to be around.
What if there's a discussion to be had?
Yeah, what if it's not a straightforward answer? That's a big risk.
Yeah, and I would suggest that if you know that the answer is yes, you probably have a boring relationship. No, I'm just kidding.
Man, I wouldn't say that.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, we can move on. I've been watching tornado videos. Dude, I'm obsessed with meteorology. I wish there was a path I could see, a career path.
Oh, I can see one for you.
To get into meteorology.
Transgender, dress,
What are you talking about?
meteorologist. That's the path.
I'm already pretty close.
You got the hair.
Yeah. I'm lanky.
You're pretty slender.
I could pass as a female easily.
Nice dress.
Can't grow facial hair.
Long legs. All you got to do
But
is
seriously,
cut your nuts off and start taking estrogen, and I think
I don't got to do all
you
that.
can develop a career.
No, I don't got to do any of that. I just claim to identify. But let's not get into those
Just
weeds.
get a
Let's not get into those weeds.
erection while on stage.
We're not getting into those weeds. I'm serious. What type of career path is there for studying meteorology? Like,
So that's interesting that you asked, because I know somebody that works at DHEC that studied meteorology and is now working in air monitoring.
right.
So he handles air permits for the state. So like big industries, they have a lot of
Similar to the hazardous
off-gas-
waste.
Yeah, similar. So
Yeah.
just a different aspect. They
Just
control the
air,
emissions.
not ground.
Right. Yeah, same deal. So yeah, that's one option
You're right.
because it's kind of the similar type of study. You know what I mean?
Right. But yeah, I would love to get into meteor. Like, I want to get back into like a scientific field. I feel like I've wasted so much of my life studying art.
What do you
Like-
meteorology? I think you would be surprised at what jobs present themselves.
I know, that's
for
why
sure.
I'm like, I've just been thinking about it lately. But no, like I was watching a bunch of videos about tornadoes.
Or even predicting weather for, like, I don't know,
There's a ton of different fields. I just don't like the first thing is-
aviation, because aviation they have to observe weather
Right.
patterns pretty strictly. So I'm sure that large airlines have meteorologists on staff.
Oh, I'm sure. And like, any type of like NOAA, what is that? The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
I'm
NOAA.
not familiar.
You know it.
No, that maybe.
NOAA.
Oh,
It's
maybe I
like
do
the
know that.
weather service. Like the
NOAA, I think I know that.
Yeah, NOAA.
Maybe I've
I
seen
believe
that.
it's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Mm.
I'm not sure. Anyway, did you know that one of the most powerful tornadoes ever documented was in 1925? It was called the Tri-State Tornado because it went through 3 states.
Jesus.
It went from Missouri to Indiana, and it traveled 219 miles.
God.
That's like a tornado touches down in Myrtle Beach, goes all the way to Union.
Uh-huh.
This tornado was on the ground for over 7 hours,
God.
and it took the lives of 695 people.
Jesus Christ.
The deadliest tornado in U.S. history.
Where was it again?
It's touched down in Missouri and traveled all the way to Indiana in 1925.
Dude, so I saw something recently that Tornado Alley, which is just the place in the United States with the highest density of tornadoes,
It's shifting.
it's moved
It's shifting.
from like Oklahoma into like the plains of Mississippi and Louisiana.
Yes, it's shifting slightly eastward, and also the southeast is
We've had tornadoes in South Carolina numerous times.
no the full eastern seaboard, or southeast at least. Not New England and up there is not really a big tornado place, but we are actually a subsect of Tornado Alley. Like technically, Tornado Alley branches all the way over to the Carolinas, Georgia, the whole southeast. But
we get 'em from hurricanes?
the major Tornado Alley is the Midwest right there.
I know you've seen where like a hurricane will come through and it'll
Yeah.
spit off
Yeah.
tornadoes.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking crazy.
We also have not had an EF5 tornado in over 10 years
In South Carolina.
in the nation.
Oh.
In over 10 years since we've had an EF5. I didn't realize this. Tornadoes... Ooh, camera. Oh, sorry.
Dude, tornadoes scare me. You know, Hannah's dad, he used to work for this, I think, God, what's it called? Anyway, they travel around and do ministry in places that have been affected by natural disasters. Samaritan's Purse, that's what it's called.
Kind of like Habitat for Humanity.
Very similar, except they travel to wherever a disaster's happened.
Okay.
Is that what Habitat for Humanity is?
I don't know.
Probably something. But anyway, and they went to Kentucky where there was like a terrible tornado and like it had fucking devastated.
Wow.
And they helped rebuild some houses.
Yeah, tornadoes are terrifying. I want to see one though.
You never seen one?
No, I've never seen one in real life.
I think I've
No.
seen one in person. Yeah.
I've never seen a funnel
Yeah.
cloud.
Yeah, for sure I've seen.
But did you know that
Monarch. I was in Monarch. I'm pretty sure.
the EF scale, the enhanced Fujita scale, does not classify tornadoes based on their size and wind speed. It specifically classifies tornadoes based on the destruction that they caused.
Huh.
So I was watching this video about this EF2 tornado that was huge. Like this tornado, I believe, was 2.3 miles wide. And it traveled for, I forget,
But it was in like farm country or something.
Yeah, and it barely destroyed anything. It had wind speeds of upwards of 300 miles an hour. But because it was just barely destroyed anything, it was classified as an EF2.
There's nothing to stop them out there.
How crazy is that, though?
It's just big flat land.
Like hurricanes aren't like that. Hurricanes are specifically classified based on wind speed
How big they are.
and size.
Yeah.
Tornadoes, no. It's fully based on the amount of destruction they cause.
Right. That's weird. I didn't know that.
And the levels are like, if it hit your brick house, the amount of damage it does, like if it ripped it fully off its foundation and just leveled this lot, that's an EF5. If it rips just the roof off and does a lot more damage, that's maybe an EF4. If it just tears a few shingles off, maybe knocks some branches off the trees, that might be an EF2. It has nothing to do with wind speed or size, which blew my mind.
It's correlated, but not necessarily.
Right, it's correlated.
It is correlated with the areas of densely, however densely
Right.
populated the area is. That. Right.
But yeah, I was just like,
Because that big tornado, if it hit my house, it would have had the strength
would
to
have
do
leveled
it.
this entire neighborhood.
So it's correlated, but not a direct measurement.
It's only correlated because the more powerful tornadoes are going to have more destruction.
More destruction.
But it's not correlated because it literally doesn't matter at all about the power of the tornado.
Right,
It's
right,
only
right.
about the destruction it
Right.
caused.
It's correlated, but not cost.
Right. It's crazy. Like I never realized. I thought it was specifically wind speed.
Wow.
But no.
Well, that's interesting. We've learned a lot today, I feel.
All right, I got one more. I asked you the favorite smells. Okay, this might be a quick one. It's funny that we really, really like classic cars. Classic cars are fucking cool.
Sure.
Like we cherish classic cars, but nobody has the frame of mind
To take care
to
of a
take
car.
care of their current modern car,
Right.
knowing in 50 years that's going to be a cherished classic automobile. Like, for instance, our trucks.
We don't make classics anymore.
We do.
Our trucks, you think, will be classics one day?
Because there's some of the last generations of cars that aren't loaded with computers.
That's a good point.
That's a fucking, like, that's like one of the, I don't know, like the last cars that were made before the automatic transmission came into
Right.
common use.
Right.
Like, I absolutely think that in 100 years,
Gas-powered cars are going to be a thing of the past.
that too. Like, nobody really has the foresight to be like, we love classic cars, but wait, these are all going to be classics one day. You know, back in the day, of course, car designs were much more beautiful, in my personal opinion, much cooler. But back in the day, they didn't think so. Like,
some cars today are still beautiful.
for instance, nowadays, like my mom, when her first car, her dad bought her, was a Chevy Nova. I would kill to have
Right.
a Nova. Those
Yeah.
are sick cars.
My dad had a Nova.
She cried.
Everybody had a Nova back in the day.
She cried when he bought that car for her because she thought it was ugly and did not want it.
Really?
And nowadays, I'm like, I would kill for that fucking Nova.
Yeah, nowadays people like the Nova.
So that's my point. Even back in the day, we see them as really sick cars nowadays, but even back then, people thought that they were, some cars were uglier than others. For instance, the Fox body Mustang, the 80s Mustang. People thought those were ugly as shit. Still, a lot of people think they're the ugliest Mustang, but they've grown on me a lot.
I don't think I know that one.
They've grown on me a lot. I fucking love the look of a classic Mustang. 40 years old. What classic's 25 and older, right?
I don't know.
I believe
Is
a
that what the
classic is
description
25
is?
and older. But hold on, Fox body Mustang. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. They were very similar to the Tauruses back in the day, I believe. This style. Bro, those have grown on me so much. I think those things look so fucking sick now. I used to think they were ugly as shit.
That's not something I would spring for.
They've grown on me so much. They've got that like JDM styling. They almost look like an old Honda Accord, like a Japanese, like a Supra or something. I don't know. They've grown on me a lot. I used to think they were hideous. Now I think they're badass.
That's wild. Is that from the 80s?
Yeah, I think those are like mid 80s. What did that say? 87 to 93. Looks like, I don't know, somewhere around then. But yeah, what constitutes a classic car? I want to say
Apparently cars were shitty in that time
25
period.
years. Classic car age. How would I even? Car it says 10 to 24. Antique is 25 and older. It's an antique car. That makes zero sense.
Classic is what?
10 to 25 years. 10 to 24 years. So
What?
yeah, my truck's not a classic.
Mine's
It's
a
14 years old.
2009.
Yeah, no, that's not a classic. I don't.
That's stupid.
But that was based on like insurance purposes. But all right, one last thought. How the fuck are motorcycles legal?
Freedom, baby.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be legal. I wouldn't argue that. We live in America, freedom. But how in the fuck, in a world where wearing your seatbelt is a law, are motorcycles legal?
That's hilarious. I've never thought about that before.
How the fuck?
That's hilarious.
Like, the whole reason we instituted seatbelts was for the safety of all the other drivers on the road. You know, it's not necessarily for the safety of you, because you're allowed to do things that put your own life at risk. It's about insurance purposes and the safety of others. That's the big thing. How the fuck can you still go drive a
How
motorcycle?
does it keep other people safe to wear a seatbelt?
Because if you get into an accident and nobody's wearing a seat, like you can choose to not. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't believe in seatbelt laws.
I don't think the seatbelt is to protect other people.
Well, I mean,
I think it's just solely to protect you. I don't think it has any. I mean, does it have
100% for insurance purposes? 100%.
I'm not arguing that, but to protect other people. I'm just trying to imagine how that would work. How it would protect other people. I mean, unless you flew through the windshield and hit somebody. I mean, I don't know.
Why were seatbelt laws passed? The seatbelt laws were passed to increase seatbelt use and save lives. Studies have shown that seatbelts, that yada, yada, yada.
So it's to protect you, the individual who's wearing the seatbelt.
Right, but for insurance purposes.
Does the insurance company have to pay if you die?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But you can drive a motorcycle.
It's ridiculous.
How?
Yeah, that's besides the point.
Like, how in the world?
Yeah, you should be able to ride without a seatbelt.
Yeah, that makes zero sense. I
Yeah.
can ride down the road in a death
A
trap.
cop shouldn't be able to pull you over for fucking not wearing a seatbelt.
I can drive down the road in a death trap where the only barrier between my organs and the road and other vehicles is my skin.
Dude, people don't even,
or a leather jacket.
They don't even literally check. People don't even check the bearings in their car.
Like
They don't check their anything. They'll just drive a car until the wheel falls off.
yeah. But like, seriously, how?
They're worried about a seatbelt.
I guess motorcycles are just grandfathered in because America, baby.
Yeah,
It makes zero sense.
you can't take those. You can't. That's like guns. You can't.
No,
take
I'm
it.
not, and I'm not. I would never argue for that. I
Right.
don't think you should. I think you should be allowed to
Your
drive a
argument
motorcycle.
is really about the sovereignty about the seatbelt, maybe.
I suppose.
Is
I
that
mean,
your
I'm not
real
really
objection?
arguing anything. I'm just asking how the fuck, when they made seatbelts a law, fasten your seatbelts. It's a law. Then you can still drive a motorcycle. How did that like slip through the cracks? I don't understand. Did the guy making that law just love motorcycles? Like how?
Do they have any electric motorcycles? I'm sure they
Yeah,
do.
yeah, 100%.
Like
yeah,
that are
there's
like
plenty of
road
options.
viable?
Yeah, yeah, plenty of options for
Really?
sure. Yeah.
Not like a bicycle. Like
No,
a,
no.
Like
There's electric motorcycles for sure.
a word.
There's electric dirt bikes. There's road viable electrical because it's so much easier. You're moving so much less weight.
I would think the batteries are pretty heavy.
Still,
I mean, like a motor, you can pick up a.
dude, what does a car weigh compared to a motorcycle? That's my point. Even if
Right.
you're filling that entire motorcycle with batteries that weigh a few hundred pounds, you're still moving 1,000 pounds less
No, I
weight,
see what
if
you're
not
saying.
more,
But still, those
and less passengers.
like electric cars, literally, they all weigh more than regular cars.
Yeah, they all like almost double in most cases.
Yeah, substantially more.
So a motorcycle, even if you double it, you're still moving so much less weight with the same amount of power that would drive a car.
Dude, apparently there was a study that was done about electric cars, and because they weigh twice as much
Yeah.
as a normal car, they go through brakes twice as fast. And they're in terms
heard
of
that.
emissions,
I have heard that.
it's actually worse.
Brake dust is one of the worst things for the environment.
It's worse than the regular cars.
Well, I just think we'll get to a point where all cars have like carbon ceramic brakes and they don't degrade.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. Like the Tesla Model S Plaids, the ones that go 0 to 60 in like under 3 seconds.
The 100G one.
Those have a brake option, which I think nowadays is standard because the brakes were wearing out so fast on those cars and it was dangerous that they come with carbon ceramic brakes and they literally don't wear down.
Wow.
No brake pad change, no rotor change. I think I'm right about that. And then one last thing about the U.S. that is completely doesn't make sense, and then we'll wrap up. Money. Stop me if I think I've
God.
talked about this before, but I know we've talked about it with Quinn. We make new money to make it harder to counterfeit, but we still accept old money. Other countries like Australia, when Australia makes a new bill to make it harder to counterfeit, they take the old bills out of circulation. We don't do that.
I'm sure they phase bills out of circulation.
No, we don't do that. Any bill that has ever been printed by the U.S. Treasury is legal tender.
Huh.
We don't take them out of circulation. So we've spent probably billions of dollars to make bills less and less counterfeitable, but you can just counterfeit a bill from 50 years ago and it's still legal tender. What the fuck are we doing? We're stupid.
I don't know about that.
That doesn't make any sense. Like you get a 5, it's from 2002. We didn't have the fucking strip in it. We didn't have the holographic bullshit. I mean, we don't have holographic. You know what I'm saying? All the like stuff. You look through it. You mark it with the marker. Is it real? Is it not real?
What if they do take it out of circulation, but like
They don't. I'm telling you. I'm not making this
they
up.
slowly collect all the cash, and because they're all legal tender, because no one wants cash anymore.
Yeah.
So they're just like,
But there's still a lot of cash floating around.
yeah, for sure.
But even like, say, 10 years ago.
I see what you're saying.
Before everything was digital and car, 10 years ago, of course, still a lot of people didn't have cash. But like other countries, literally, they're like, after this new currency has been in circulation for a certain amount of time, all of the currency before that date is no longer legal tender.
That just seems weird.
No, we're the weird ones.
So would they replace your bills?
I
Like
don't
if you
know.
had like $1,000 that you hadn't spent yet of your old one, you were like, I don't want to spend it.
Yeah, I think you have to go to a place and exchange it. Just like if you were to go to another country and had to exchange American tender for Australian tender.
Yeah, I guess.
It just makes zero sense. The whole reason we make new bills is to make them harder to counterfeit, but we still accept old bills. It makes no sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
Except that they're improving. They're trying to get better because obviously there are going to be more new bills in circulation.
Also, if anybody's counterfeiting, you'd be an idiot to not just stick with like 5s and 10s. You're never getting caught. 5s and 10s?
No one gives a fuck.
That's easy.
No one
Easy
gives
money.
a fuck.
You start counterfeiting hundreds, your ass is going to jail, son. So for all my lawbreakers out there, counterfeit 5s and 10s. That's the way to do it. Not that I advocate for breaking the law.
Have you ever done this?
No, are you kidding me? I would have no idea how to make a bill.
Well, they're made out of cotton.
I know that much. Also, our money is so antiquated. Like bills and like I'll keep going to the UK and Australia just because that's what I'm most familiar with. I don't know what the fucking French or German money looks like, but in Australia, their bills are literally a type of plastic, I believe. They're unrippable. You can't like just rip a bill in half.
Really?
You can try, and it's no give. You can't rip an Australian dollar in half. I'm sure you can.
Kind of hard to rip an American dollar.
No,
but
it's not at all.
I guess so.
Are
can
you
just-
stupid?
can just
It's
rip it.
just as
It's
easy as
not-
ripping a piece of paper.
I guess so. I've never ripped one.
I've ripped plenty on accident.
Or I guess
You go to
I've
pull
ripped
it out
one
of your
on
pocket,
accident,
you
yeah.
rip it in half, you tape it together, and hope that they take it at the store. I believe technically the law.
Is if it's fully separated, it's done.
No, the law is if all 4 corners are still intact, it has to be accepted. I think that's the law.
Oh, really?
I believe it might be 3 corners. So if you have a corner torn off a bill, it's still technically legally acceptable.
Wow.
I don't know. That's something I would like to look up. That one's actually might spark my curiosity enough for me to actually do some Googling about
That's
it. Either way,
interesting.
America's backwards,
Oh,
but we're free as can be.
Everyone knows that.
All right. Well, that was fun. We've been going that flew by.
Yeah, it was wild.
It's been almost an hour and a half. Thank you guys for supporting us over the past year.
Full year, man.
Again, I forgot to shout it out at the beginning because I'm stupid. I know we've got some additional listeners on these last few episodes. I'm fucking looking at the stats. Right in. I want some feedback. I only get feedback through social media posts. I want some feedback through the actual listener, the true listeners of the podcast, not just people who look at us on social media.
Right.
So write in to upacreek@thepaddlepod.com. Let us know when you started listening. Just fucking shout
Anything.
out to us. Give us.
Anything.
I need feedback. I feel like we're just screaming into the abyss right now. It's just numbers on a screen.
Right.
I want to put some people, some personalities, some faces to those numbers. So write into the show at upacreek@thepaddlepod.com.
Please do.
Quinn did send us an email, and all he said was, if you're not grilling your PB&J, you're fucking up.
I've never grilled a PB&J in my life.
You're fucking up. You got to try that.
First of all, I'm more spring towards peanut butter and honey, but I could see a peanut butter and honey being good.
Grill it like a grilled cheese.
Okay.
It's going to change your life.
I'm being summoned.
All right. Well, yeah, appreciate you. Episode 50, been here 1 year.
Up a creek.
Looking forward to another year in the books. Oh, also, I thought of an intro that we should start saying,
Okay.
just so that people who tune into the show have an idea of what the show's going to be. We should start the episodes by saying, like, welcome to the Up a Creek with Two Paddles podcast, where life is the creek and we're the paddles. There's something like that to just very quickly summarize that we're just shooting the shit.
Okay. Some snappy intro.
Like Rhett and Link on Ear Biscuits, they open by welcome to Ear Biscuits, the podcast where two lifelong friends talk about life for a long time.
That's pretty good.
So something like of that kind of framework where it just kind of lets you know we're just two dudes talking. So, where like life is the creek, we're the paddles, and we're just in our canoe trying to figure it out. Something along those lines.
Okay. I'll keep it in mind.
It may increase the marketability of the show.
For sure. A snappy intro.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you guys for listening. Reach out, upacreek@thepaddlepod.com. Thank you.